I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna talk about it. Rich is gonna talk about it. Rich is gonna enjoy talking about this damn topic, cause oh yeah, I'm fed up. Why am I making this video? Because this video is not for everyone. I'm gonna talk about my history. To everyone, my name is Rich, the Truth Richardson. I come from a backyard wrestling, yes, back in the day where backyard wrestling, teenagers used to wrestle and go crazy in their backyards. The only difference is that my group, EWF, that's what we was called, Extreme Wrestling Federation, we wrestled in a basement. And it went from 3 people, it was me and 2 other people. From there it grew into a roster of 50 better. Now, the whole organization grew. It grew as a whole. It grew as a family. And at the time, we all were working hard. I was busting my ass doing lots of hours of editing videos. And yes, on some bootleg shit back in the day. Now we got some better shit. I'm kind of happy about it. I could do special effects. I could do better things now. But, long story short, EWF fell off. Because we didn't have the backing. We didn't have the money. We didn't have the financial, investment, the thing.
All men and women created by
yeah, Joe.
So you know the thing.
The thing. Yeah, Joe. The thing. The ching-ching that makes everything freaking then go around in this damn pathetic world. Because ideas is not enough anymore. Ideas, yes, can take you so far, but then you got some freaking piece of shit that freaking steals the idea. And he has the money, and then he looks like the one that did it all. Created it and made it and freaking financed the damn thing. But this video is about how I am a die-hard wrestling fan from childhood. And how I grew up to love the wrestling business. And yes, I'm not a wrestler. I'm not going to tell a professional wrestler how to take bumps. I'm not going to tell him how to sell. And I'm not going to tell him to be a professional. But what I am going to tell you is how professional wrestling grew so big. So big. And I'm talking about WWE. It was a big war. It was a big war, WCW versus WWE. You remember that, huh? You remember that, Vince? Do you remember the struggle? Do you remember that you was this close to freaking basically lose your company? But luckily, you know what saved WWE? Not you, Vince, no. You know what saved WWE? The people that were working in your organization at that time. You know? You got all these freaking damn people back in the day that were working hard in the Attitude Era. We're going to talk about how wrestling grew. We're going to talk about how wrestling is falling apart and how every single organization is a copycat. It's a black freaking carbon copy of every single freaking organization being done over and over again. When is it going to stop? When are we going to get something new? When are we going to get some freaking damn new storylines? When are we going to get something creative? Really focus on the 2 big ones that are supposed to be competing right now, which is the WWE and the AEW. And we're going to talk about the differences between the companies and how both companies have similarities. Big similarities. Oh yeah, big similarities, people. But I'm going to tell you why that one claims to be the bigger brand, and while the other claims to be big enough to compete and be different, but yet looks like they're doing the same freaking thing. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna talk about it. Rich is gonna talk about it. Rich is gonna enjoy talking about this damn topic, cause oh yeah, I'm fed up. Even though wrestling has its history, and it goes way back before this, but we're gonna go into Vincent James McMahon, better known as Vince McMahon Sr., was an American professional wrestling promoter. He is best known for running the Capital Wrestling Corporation, subsequently renamed as the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, the WWF, 3 W's, can you believe it, and the World Wrestling Federation, and currently named WWE from 1953 to 1982.
and being the father of his successor, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. In her biography, wrestler The Fabulous Moolah claimed that McMahon was one of the first promoters to split gate proceeds with his wrestlers. Unlike his son, McMahon believed that the job of a promoter should be kept backstage or behind the scenes. It should never interfere with the action in the ring. As a result, McMahon almost never came down to the squared circle. He can, however, clearly be seen standing ringside during the infamous Madison Square Garden alley fight between Sergeant Slaughter and Pat Patterson. Though McMahon appeared in the movie The Wrestler, in a cast that was dominated by contemporary wrestlers, he believed that wrestlers should remain wrestlers and not branch off into other forms of media. Accordingly, he disapproved of Hulk Hogan's appearance in Rocky III in 1982, leading to Hogan's temporary departure from the WWF for American Wrestling Association. When his son purchased the WWF, he felt differently than his father on the issue. He rehired Hogan as his top star and avidly supported wrestlers branching out into other fields, as well as cross promotions with various musicians, actors, and other personalities outside of wrestling. In 1982, the year I was born, that's a great year, McMahon sold the parent company of the World Wrestling Federation to his son Vince McMahon and his company Titan Sports Incorporated. His son, much to his father's initial concern, set out to make the WWF national and eventually worldwide in scope. Had my father known that what I was going to do, the younger McMahon told Sports Illustrated in 1991, he never would have sold his stock to me. The younger McMahon's competitive tactics were successful, and the WWF quickly became the most prominent exponent of sports entertainment. His son Vince is still running his father's promotion, which since 2002 has been called World Wrestling Entertainment. McMahon's grandchildren Shane and Stephanie also work for the WWF/E. McMahon was inducted into the WWF Hall of Fame class of 1996 by his grandson Shane. Upon taking over the company, McMahon immediately worked to get WWF programming on syndicated television all across the United States. This angered other promoters and disrupted the well-established boundaries of the different wrestling promotions. In addition, the company used income generated by advertising, television deals, and tape sales to secure talent from rival promoters. The younger McMahon wanted the WWF to be a national wrestling promotion, something the NWA did not approve of. He shortly defected his promotion from the NWA, much like the American Wrestling Association, which McMahon's vision for his promotion was started to become possible when he signed AWA talent Hulk Hogan, who had achieved popularity outside of wrestling, notably for his appearance in Rocky III as Thunder Lips. I don't know what kind of name is that. McMahon signed Rowdy Roddy Piper as Hogan's rival, and shortly afterward signed Jesse the Body Ventura. Other significant wrestlers who were part of the roster included Big John Studd, Andre the Giant, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, the Magnificent Don Muraco, Junkyard Dog, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and Nikolai Volkov. In 1984, Hogan was pushed to main event status. He defeated WWF World Heavyweight Champion the Iron Sheik at Madison Square Garden on January 23, 1984. And thus evolved into one of the most recognizable and popular faces in professional wrestling. Hulk Hogan, Sergeant Slaughter, and Brutus Beefcake were mainstays of 1980s WWF wrestling. With reasonable revenue being made, McMahon was able to secure television deals, and WWF was being shown across the United States. McMahon also began selling videotapes of WWF events outside the Northeast through his Coliseum Video Distribution Company, again angering other promoters. The syndication of WWF programming forced promotions to engage in direct competition with the WWF. For McMahon to truly turn WWF into a national promotion, he needed to have WWF touring the entire United States. Such a venture was impossible with the revenue WWF currently had, so McMahon envisioned a way to obtain the necessary capital through a risky all-or-nothing gamble on a supercard concept called WrestleMania in 1985. Let's talk about the verdict. Basically evolved into something, that little boys and girls can, look up to. Role models. Big, gigantic, big, brolic monsters that just basically smash each other around. But it goes deeper than that. We're going to talk about why is it that we've seen a lot of evolution in wrestling. We've seen creativity that taken basically months to develop, but now the business is a roller coaster of storylines that sometimes make sense and sometimes it just comes out of nowhere and just hits you right in your anal. But why? Because now it's all washed up with writers that don't care about the wrestler, don't care about the professional that person, that character needs to be developed, just like how a great writer develops a character. But no, they write these little gummy bear storylines, throw it into the show, and then comes Vince, whenever the hell he feels like it. Oh, we're gonna just take this out. We're gonna freaking throw this to the garbage. Oh, well, why? Why? Because he says so? Because he thinks he's more creative than anybody else? Because he created WWF? That's cool, Vince. You did. But creativity comes from another person. Creativity comes from individuals, not just one. And wrestling still has a lot growing to do. A lot to evolve. Yes, it has come a long way. But wrestling has the potential to become a sport that can engage and get new audiences that will like and love to watch it every week. Instead of the constant battle that you, Vince, and Tony Khan, I gotta throw you in here too. The little battle you guys have with ratings, does it really matter by the end of the day? To me, what really matters is what the fans want. What the fans think is better. What the fans feel like in the moment, the fad, that this is what they want to follow. Do it for the fans, not for yourselves, because by the end of the day, you both, with the millions that you guys have, cannot be saved without the enthusiasm and the excitement and the hopefulness of what the fans expect from each and one of you. The Hurt Business. The most recent, impactful organization, faction, group, clique, whatever you want to call it. It includes Bobby Lashley, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander. I picked this topic because it has some common points and things that over the years with WWE and especially Vince McMahon, he decides he wants to split up the Hurt Business. Now you think, why? If it's the best thing right now in the organization, a lot of things lacking, but yet people look forward to watching this faction grow because it's something entertaining and new and creative. So you think Vince wants to split them up, but he doesn't do it with the New Day. You think about it, why not? Why not with the New Day? Oh, because the New Day are African American clowns for Vince, and for him, all due respect to the New Day, because they are professional performers with skill, yet they don't get split up because, wow, they get to act the fool. But yet you got the serious African American group that, like in storytelling, you want a threat, you want an entertaining threat, which engages a better story and develops your champion, if you want to say, your face or whoever that comes after to completely demolish this villain. But no, You decide, I'm gonna split them up because I just like Bobby Lashley. He has big ass arms, and I'm just gonna put him as champion by himself because he doesn't need a group. He doesn't need a freaking damn little following or nothing connected. No, all he needs is plain out Bobby Lashley with his six-pack and big arms. Vince McMahon, how he created WWF, has this unique little history to it. A unique little backstory. Something you could admire. The guy had an idea, vision. He made it happen. But he made it happen on something else that was already established, something that had a connection, a bond, which was the promotions. The bond was, the agreement was all promotions stay in their little boundaries and territories and just be their organizations. But Vince didn't want that. No. Vince decided he wanted to make the WWF like a drug cartel, like somebody that's moving into another man's territory. He's selling a product, and now you're taking over the territory, you're taking over the sales, you're taking over the customers, wrestling business. So now you got Vince taking all talent, wiping out all the remaining promotions that are struggling in this battle because Vince gets his television deals, he makes deals with celebrities, appearances, movies, things like that. And of course, the struggle gets harder for people that don't have the funds, the people that don't have the money and the backing to continue and to be able to basically go against this Goliath, if you want to say, Titan Sports, which is completely wiping out all promotions and made these promotions little men in the people. Basically cannot defend themselves. So they're just looking for little scraps, Like somebody starving. You throw him a piece of a breadcrumb, he's gonna freaking then jump on it like a rat looking for cheese. So now, through the years, the WWF becomes popular. It starts conquering things. And then you see that the WWF looks like it's on top. It looks like no one's going to freaking do anything. It's just unstoppable. But wait a minute. Now you got Ted Turner. Ted Turner buys WCW. Then he hires Eric Bischoff, which, with all due respect, and I have much respect for Eric Bischoff, and this is a confession, by the way. Back in the day, when I was a wrestling fan, I used to be repulsed. I used to hate Eric Bischoff because I was so much of a big diehard WWF, WWE fan. And what happened with that was I kept hating on Bischoff because everything that they were doing with the NWO, they were winning in the ratings, and I was like, wow, my organization, my favorite organization, might be going bankrupt. Might be, no more. And WCW ends up becoming the giant, the Goliath of wrestling promotions. But look at this. Look at how karma sometimes freaking jerks you off. Karma comes, sticks it right in freaking Vince's ass, and says, okay, you want to be grimy? You want to be grimy, you motherfucker. You want to be grimy toward all the promotions that you wiped out and watch them sink and lose everything, like losing your apartment and leasing all that you have, everything that you own. And yes, the thing came right after you, Vince. It came right after you. Karma was looking for you. Karma was like a freaking animal with rabies, waiting to freaking bite one little freaking testicular right off of you. But then what happened, Vince? What happened? WCW starts to freaking grow. WCW creates the NWO. They get 2 freaking stars of yours. And then what happens? They get another former star, and you know who I'm talking about. The one that helped you create and start the WWF monster, Hulk Hogan. Now, you're getting worried, Vince. You're losing in the ratings, Vince. You're getting desperate, Vince. You're getting the little shivers, Vince. But now, what happens? It's going to shit. But then, by the stroke of lightning, by luck, and by chance, and maybe by even God, too, because I think God has a lot to do with that's something else. Stone Cold comes. Steve Austin. Not the ringmaster, none of that bullshit. No, Stone Cold Steve Austin at the King of the Ring. It started it. But he was in a transition with his little feuds with Brian Pillman and Bret Hart, and you have Owen Hart, you have all these other people. But yet, it was little by little evolving into the SOB. The can of whoop ass that everyone knows. So let's put it, long story short, Vince. The Attitude Era saved you from karma, bending you over and sticking it right in there. Stone Cold saved the company because with that transition, with that change in attitude, with that character development that he himself, from even the early ECW days, he brought it into your organization, that same charisma that Paul Heyman knew and seen in Austin. And what Austin does? He doesn't go and hangs off of your ball sacks and waiting for you to create him into a character. No. He goes and says, you know what? I'm going to give you the middle finger, Vince. Then I'm going to tell you to bend the fuck over and I'm going to kick you right in your ass and tell you that I'm going to do my own thing because I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin. So yeah, Vince, Austin saved WWE.
So, we reached the revision that you gotta break up. But, by the way, do you like the shirt? Do you like it? Yeah, it's, The Truth is Rich t-shirt. You can get it at the website, down at the link in the description. But back to the revision. Rich wants to make sure that everybody knows that wrestling has gotten so freaking bad. It's gotten so horrible with the stories. You gotta think of this. The WWE has so much talent. It's just like it's so much of a clutter. So they don't know what to do with all this talent. So then you get all these writers that basically don't care about the characters. And they go and manipulate it into this like sitcom kind of style television. Like, who the hell wants to see that? But now, you get used to this little freaking cycle, and then what happens to the promoter? You, Vince, you get comfortable, and then you say, you know what, I'm gonna let them ride. And then when I find a little freaking nook and cranny or something that I don't freaking like, then I go and pull it out and freaking then cancel it. We're gonna get to AEW. Tony Khan, another guy. You have all the resources also. Resources I wish I had. And yes, a lot of people say, oh, well, you know what? I earned my money. I earned my wealth. That's cool. But not everybody's fortunate and has the brains at the time to get that. That's what you gotta see. But you know what? I'm working on it. Just give me a little second. Give me a little second. Now, AEW, WWE, you've gone a long way. This is what I'm going to give to you as the revision. Wrestling has enough talent and resources to make it amazing. To make it to the point that people that don't watch wrestling, they go and they say, you know what? By the way, WWE, AEW, it's getting a little interesting. I feel like watching it right now. Hey, mommy, pass me the remote. I'm going to sit down and watch my show. But you don't see that. You see only the die-hard wrestling fans, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're a die-hard fan and you still like the piece of freaking shit crap that you're seeing now, that's up to you. I'm looking for something better. I'm looking for some more fan appreciation. You know what they call it? Appreciation. Yeah, appreciation. Now, think of it as this way. If you don't think of a better way, look for someone that can. Because when it all comes down to it, a person that has the resources, a person that has the money, a person that has all the capabilities to do things, it doesn't matter without the creativity up in here. So Rich Richardson wants to give you one more before I go. And that's, if wrestling doesn't change, God help me, I get the resources and the money and also the talent like you two, you better believe there's gonna be a war. And some wrestling that people can get the little shivers and say, this is something that I like to see. Don't you think? This one's for fun. So, every wrestling organization thinks because they have a big ring, they have championship belts, they have the cameras, the fame, all that you asked for, but you could keep it. A promo is not based on what you have. A promo is not based on what freaking title that you have to represent how tough or how elite or above you are in the business. I'm gonna tell you what makes you on top of the business, and that's making a name for yourself. You start with your name and then you end it with a legacy. That's how it goes. That's how you do it. Now, back in my history, EWF, we did promos a little more freestyle. Promos based on how we feel at the moment. But I'm gonna tell you why. Because the business of professional wrestling is a tough one. And I give all the respect to everyone in the business for taking their bumps and for sacrificing and doing whatever it takes to make their dreams come true. You professionals deserve better. You professionals, professional wrestlers, deserve much more appreciation. From Rich Richardson to all of you, if the time comes, if it's in the stars, and I'm blessed with the fantasy of running a wrestling organization again, all of you, definitely all of you are invited. Join the revolution. Join the truth. Join Rich the Truth Richardson. And oh yeah, it's gonna be a bag of bodies.
If you scumbags enjoyed what you watch, hit that like button and make sure that you subscribe so that you get all of this heavenly glory. And remember that the truth is rich.